excited because I inboxed him, y'all, just like every other stalker out there. I inboxed him and say, would you please be on my radio show? You know, those trolls that be on Facebook and Twitter and all of that. You know, I was a troll. I had to get this man on this show. So, without further ado, please help me welcome Mr. John Patrick Adams to Get Fed.
What's up, everybody? What's up?
Yes. But anyway, I just want to just let you know that John is someone who and I, we go way, way back. We went to high school together. And as soon as he got here, we just laughed and just reminisced and just thought about all the times that we were just hanging out and laughing and just going crazy, y'all. So I know John personally, and I'm so thankful that he took the time to just come and just sit with me for a little bit, our little cognac and conversation session, and just talk to you guys. So let me introduce him. He is an author, composer, pianist, a blogger, certified life coach, motivational speaker, just to name a few of the many hats that he wears. So, John, hello.
What's going on, Shalonda? Thank you for having me here.
So delighted that you took the time out of your busy schedule, touring, visiting, going here and going there to just say, hey, what's up?
What's up?
Good. So, what's been going on?
Just life, just like everybody else, you're just trying to stay on your grind and, live out your dream and pursue your passion. So, that pretty much take up the majority of my time. Just like I said, just trying to make the dream come true.
Wow, that's awesome. And you have truly, I can see dreams coming to fruition just by getting on your website and seeing all the many books that you've written and the things that you're doing in the industry, writing books, just so many things that are just going on in your life. How do you find time to just say, let me just rest and come to bed with Shalonda? How did you do that tonight?
Well, anything for you, Shalonda. Anything for you. We'll drop whatever I'm doing to be here with you.
I feel so special.
But, like this show, of course, you're a very special person in my life. So, I would do anything to make this happen. But with anything, I think you need balance in your life. Mm-hmm. So you need to be able to balance what you do and then also balance what you do for yourself. And I'm a homebody, so I like to, when I am not doing something, I always like to just be at home, just watching TV, reading, or, spending time with my family and friends because, life is precious, so you only get one to live. So
that's true. But wow, homebody. I would have never.
I love being at home. I love being at home.
I would have never guessed that. But you know what? With a schedule that's constant, I can see that, because when you're out there in the elements and you're out there in front of people constantly, being at home is kind of like a safe haven. It's like an oasis. It's a place where you feel like I can just be free here.
Yeah. That's the one place, and that's why, I don't have a lot of company because I don't want a lot of drama and all of those bad vibes up in my house. So, like you said, that's the one place you can go and you can completely shut out the world and, replenish yourself. And I'm big on replenishing.
That's awesome. So that kind of leads up to my question. It's good sometimes to just be alone.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people just feel like they've always got to be around someone or always have to be doing something. To me, that's not a healthy mental or even on your body. I think it takes a toll on your body. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that you definitely need that mental break and that mental replenishing because, like me, I'm constantly always either writing or, I'm always, I'm a musician at a church, so you're always encouraging somebody there. So you give so much of yourself that you drain yourself. So most people, they really don't like to be alone because when you're alone, sometimes you have to deal with the hard things.
True.
The problems really come to mind or the things that you don't like about yourself. You're reminded of those things or bad memories. So a lot of people stay busy to avoid dealing with what's
good.
really going on. So yeah, you got to get past that.
Wow, that's big. That's really, really big. Because I've sat alone, at times at the house, and you really just, your mind just starts going 1,000 miles an hour. It's like you just start thinking about this and thinking about this, and then you look at a commercial and you start crying, and you don't even know why you crying on the commercial. Yeah. But yeah, that is so true. But yeah, I think that time to just, like you say, replenish. That time to just say, hey, world, I'm going to go off and just be by myself for a weekend.
Yeah.
Or a night or something like that. It just makes you better.
Yeah.
Because rest is so important. A lot of people don't look at, getting a good night's sleep all the time. I know you can't get it all the time, but there are nights when you're like, look, I'm just going to rest tonight. I'm just going to be by myself and just rest. So that is awesome. So I appreciate your insight on that. So next, I want to know what inspired you to help others. What got, as you were going through life, and was it personal experiences? Was it people that that say, I'm going through this, I'm going through that?
It was all personal.
Mm-hmm.
It was all personal because originally it all started out, I had reached a point in my life, I just said, I got tired of, being unhappy. And,
mm-hmm.
A lot of times I think we go through life and we're unhappy and we don't even know why we're unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just constantly unhappy and we're attracting unhappy people. We're surrounded by that and we really don't recognize that. So I had reached that place in my life where I was tired of being unhappy, so I just went through, I started journaling. Well, before I started journaling, of course I prayed and I read a lot of books. And one of my first books I read was Healing is a Choice by Stephen Arterburn. And I read the book, and, that book, it gave me 40 affirmations that I had to chant every day. And when I first chanted it out, I started that journey, it was funny. It felt a little weird. It felt a little weird.
Yeah.
You standing in front of the mirror, I am. And it was like, dang, this feels like a crazy person talking to themselves.
Yeah.
But that was one of the most beneficial times of my life because it speaks positive things about you that you normally wouldn't even say about yourself.
True.
So once I reached that point where I got tired of being unhappy and I started going through that, then I started journaling my journey. As I went, myself and 3 of my friends, we started this blogging site. It was called Christian Bloggers Cafe, and we all wrote every day. And whereas they kind of wrote, about their own life experiences, I really wrote about mine because I wanted people who was experiencing what I was going through to be able to truly relate to what I was going through. From there, I just found a great piece in writing, and it just evolved into what it is today. Yeah.
That is so cool because at the end of the day, being authentic is how you become whole.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really like a healing process. And I've heard like entrepreneurs and people who are successful talk about writing things down, journaling, going through recapping your day and just kind of just saying, oh, this is what I did, this is what I'm expecting, things like that. So that's how basically everything started evolving with your books and things like that. Is that how that happened?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, I mean, that's just really, really good. And the titles of your books are fascinating, and I have them right here for those who want to purchase, John's book, Blurred Vision.
Well, Blurred Vision, actually, that is my publisher's book.
Really?
Yeah, it's out on the site. Okay. Blurred Vision, Hindsight 2020, Honesty Box, and Fortune Cookie. Those are all his books.
Okay.
And he, because he's my publisher and my best friend or whatever, my books are on his site, his books are on my site. So, we're just sharing that.
Okay, good. But How to Win the Dating Game.
Mm-hmm. That's me.
That's you.
Yep.
And Naked.
That's me.
That's where we want to go tonight. We're supposed to get naked. I got my legs on. I'm halfway there, y'all. I'm halfway naked. I got my lace on. But anyway. Those titles are really, really, they're deep because, just the title naked, it before God, naked before your spouse, naked before your loved one. That's really, really important because the skeletons in the closet have got to come out.
Yeah.
They've got to come out eventually. So what was behind Naked?
I think and this is just something that I think we all go through in life. We all try to live up to the expectations and the standards of everyone else, whether it's our parents, whether it's the church telling us what God wants us to be, and, our friends and so forth. So, Naked came to, like I said, I reached that point where I realized I was just unhappy with life. And a lot of it was caused by me trying to live up to the standards of the world. I was a preacher's kid, and my entire life, we had to be a certain way. And I was just like, I cannot live like this anymore. So I had to strip myself of the mask of trying to be perfect and trying to be this guy that everybody wants me to be, the perfect son, the perfect brother, the perfect friend, the perfect Christian. And I just was like, I can't live like this no more. So I began to strip myself of all of these facades and perceptions and masks and get to the point where I was living in my own truth. And as hard as that may be sometimes, just to be completely 100% you, don't care about what anybody else says or think. Just be you and let them choose whether or not the real you is something that they want to deal with. So that's what Naked is about. It's just about, dealing with the stuff in our lives. And, women and men, we both go through generational curses. We're living lives with generational curses. People have spoken words to us over the years that people are dealing with. They call them ugly, fat, the B word, the N word, and all these, and people's lives have been impacted in a negative way because of these things. And at some point in your life, you have to reach a place that you say, I'm releasing and stripping myself of all that and just going to be who I know God created me to be.
Wow, that is powerful. I didn't ask you to come in here and preach, but no, I'm just kidding. That was so, wow. That's an eye opener. It really is, because we go through life, we go to work, we have children, we have everyday things that go on, and we shut ourselves, we shut the true, authentic person out and put on for the world. And putting on for the world literally gets you nowhere, but unhappy. Yeah, you really end up unhappy because you have to put on so many masks to continue the lie and this lie and that lie. And learning how to be authentic and true to yourself is something I've had to learn as well, because I was starving for attention at a time in my life. And I'm like, what is this all for? I'm not getting anything that I thought I was going to get in the end. Everything that I was wanting to happen because I was being fake or something like that, or just putting on just to please someone, literally got me nowhere. So I'm thankful that the light bulb is turned on. Prayer, God is, had dealt with me in certain areas of my life, and I feel whole now. I feel as if I am walking this journey instead of just trying to get to the journey. I'm enjoying the journey now, and that's what I'm so thankful for. And that's why y'all have got to go on to johnpatrickadams.com and go on his shop tab and look at these books. Look and see if you relate. Is your vision blurred right now? Honesty box. How to win at the dating game. Get naked before yourself, before God. Do something to where if you're struggling in areas, there's help out there. And I want to know, John, why do people basically seek relationship coaches? Why do they want someone? Why do you pay someone to say, hey, this is this is what I'm dealing with. How do individuals seek, why do they seek relationship coaches?
I think they seek them because they want to, find a mate at the end. At the end of the day, that's what it's really about.
Let me write that down.
They want to get married.
They want to get married.
They want to get married.
Y'all heard it from a relationship coach, expert, certified. This is the truth.
They want to get married. And the funny thing about it, I don't think because the job of a life coach is pretty much to help you achieve your goals. But there's a lot of work that you have to do before you even go to a life coach. I mean, you have to get yourself together because the life coach does not deal with your past.
Wow.
They don't that's not their job. That's the job of a counselor.
Yes.
That's when you really paying the major bucks for someone. But a life coach they come up with a plan to help you achieve your goals. Now, in regards to relationships, most people, they come to the table with this long list of things that they want. And I always like to, I never have a want list. I have a don't want list because it's easier. Yeah, it's easier to write a list down of all these attributes that you want in a person, but once you get that person, they may not even be the right person for you. And a lot of times, I think that's why people, we've all heard, we attract who we are.
Yes.
You got to put in the work and get yourself right first. You got to put in the work and, deal with all of the issues that are going on within you before you even really get a relationship coach. So technically, some people may need to go to a psychiatrist or a counselor.
I'm not laughing at that. That's good.
Yeah, they might need to go to that.
It's just the truth.
Before they go to a relationship coach. A relationship coach is only going to help you achieve that goal and become a better dater and become a better person that will be more, I guess, appeasing, but that's not the relationship coach job to, really deal with all the crap that you've been through in the past.
That is fascinating because I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew that, from this point, if I were to call a relationship coach, this is from this point on forward.
Right.
Not things that happened in the past. That is fascinating.
Yeah.
I true insight, people. I hope you all are getting some good information from John because he is really letting y'all have it. He's letting y'all know, look, be true, be authentic. That's what it is today, because in this social media world where everything is accessible to you, the term authentic is kind of like, okay, where is that word in some people's vocabulary? Because everything is just at your fingertips. Even internet dating, that's at your fingertips, and that can be good or bad. So what is your opinion on internet dating?
I don't have a problem with internet dating. I think people do whatever they feel comfortable with. If you want to go out and you want to internet date, have at it. I think in a way that kind of delays the process. It makes it a little bit longer for you to get to know that person, because anybody can go out and fill out a profile, pull what they believe you want to read to make themselves more appealing. But, if someone want to internet date, then do it. But just be ready to know that, there are chances when you do meet the person, you may get catfished. Their picture may not look like it was when you saw them and the information they have on there. But some people have had great success with internet dating.
True.
So, kudos to those people. If that's the way we want to go for it.
Yes, I think that is just so good, because I've gotten on there before and just kind of looked and scrolled a little bit, never tried to internet date, but I just wanted to see, how it might be, and I got some little hits or whatever, but I didn't follow through with anything. But I felt that if I'm comfortable within my skin to know my boundaries, it would be okay for me to do that.
Right.
So I felt that, if someone went too far with their conversation or something like that, I knew to shut it off. I wasn't this one that's like, oh, I'm going to be a little adventurous and let him act a fool. No,
right.
I'm not going to be there for someone to just, just play on me or prey on me. So I did kind of dibble dab in that just a little bit, but nothing ever happened in that area. But to each his own, like you say.
To each his own.
It's all good. So, and sometimes I think the word, sometimes imagination is something that we don't really get to do anymore. We don't get to kind of imagine what this person may be like, or imagine how that person looks up under their clothes, because you jump on the internet, they already naked.
Yeah.
They already naked.
True.
So leaving things to the imagination is kind of one of those terms where it's like, okay, yeah, I thought you might have been this, but 4 months down the line she's already doing this, or 4 months down the line he's already doing this, and we're just maybe casually dating or something like that. But in my opinion, this is just me, the word or the term imagination is just kind of lost in a sense, just a little bit. It's not extinct, but it just, because we have so much at our fingertips now, it just seems like imagination is kind of like something that back in the day we were looking forward to, but not today. What is your opinion on something like that?
I agree. I think that now, because of social media, once you pretty much, everybody has access to everything. Once you learn a person's name, you can go find them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and find out what they're really about, or at least the perception they're giving you that they're about. But I do agree that the imagination is not so much there anymore, because everyone is so open with everything now. And I think that we do need to leave something for the imagination and be adventurous. And I think a lot of times people just so open with their emotions and their feelings, and they put everything out on social media. No, reel that back in, reel that in, and give a little mystery there.
Yeah, just a little mystery, because I don't want to know that you're at the stop sign at Hillcrest and 635. I just really don't want to know that that's where you are right now. I mean, but sometimes it's a constant, and I just have to just keep scrolling, because I do get on Facebook every day pretty much, and sometimes I see things and I'm just like, why are you posting this? And why do we have to know this? The person at this restaurant gave me this and I didn't want this. Or just posting things that are just foolish.
But that's what the world drive off of nowadays.
Yeah,
it's foolishness. It's foolishness.
You know what? That's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, the world it's like they hungry for foolishness. They hungry for that.
Yeah, so hold that thought, John. Please hold that thought, because I definitely want to come back. We're going to talk about that, and also what your topic was on your blog. Should I call him or wait for him to call me or message me or something like that? So I hope you guys are enjoying this, because I am having so much fun tonight in bed with John. John is in bed with me. I'm in bed with John. Hey, whatever you want to call it. We in bed together. So stay tuned here on PowerPlayRadioNetwork.com and Power TV. We will be right back, and we are going to leave you with imagination. See what I'm saying? See, these are the songs that we need to get back to. Much for being in bed with me tonight. I really do appreciate you guys burning the midnight oil. Basically, it is 10 p.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas here, and it is 8 in Los Angeles. It's 11 in New York, Lagos. You guys are like 4 in the morning. In Tokyo, you're already in the afternoon, so it's like noon there. So you guys have been to bed, y'all are up, y'all are at lunch. Tokyo is at lunch. I ain't mad at you. Have some rice and some soup for me, please. But be sure to also check out these amazing shows we have on a weekly basis. Living Successful with Anita Maxwell is on the second and fourth Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Also, we have Talk to the Hand with Lady P every second and fourth Thursday from 7 to 9. Man Up with Mark T each first and second Thursday from 7 to 9. Here Comes Mother Brown with Mother Emily Brown each Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7. And we are just so excited to have these new shows that are coming back with us beginning Friday, October 21st on Power Play Radio and Power TV, a show for the millennials perspective. Focus with Shay, Trey, and Lisa from 7 to 9. And that's on Fridays. Hot topics, gossip, news, all of that. And, of course, yours truly, In Bed with Shalonda, Thursdays, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yay! So I hope you guys have been enjoying our Cognac and Conversation segment that we are here with John Patrick Adams, the famous author, blogger, just relationship expert. He has just been so amazing, and we have just had a blast in here laughing and talking and just reminiscing and just going over these topics that sometimes you may have thought about but just never really had an opportunity to join in on the conversation. So we invite you in tonight. My one requirement is to have that favorite glass of wine or the beverage of your choice, because, when you come to bed with me, I want you to be relaxed. So anyway, we're going to keep this train moving. And before we left from the last hour, we were talking about drama, and just some of the things that people do on social media to just stay in the news. People just really want to be news all the time. And so one thing that I wanted to bring up to John was there was a story about a year or two ago where a woman had tied the knot to herself. Now, this woman said that by her birthday, when she turned 40, if she was not married, she was going to marry herself. Now, in my opinion, is that just being in desperation? Or is it just wanting attention? Is it because you just are what's wrong with you where you have to go out and make, a ceremony? It was ceremony. It was literally, she had people, the cake, the dress, the bells and the whistles for her own wedding. John, please help her.
Well, hey, I got to give her kudos for accomplishing a goal in life. Hey, she was saying she want to be married by the time she turned 40. Kudos to you. You are married, but you're married to a crazy woman. But hey, you married. So kudos to you. And I think the funny thing about, especially with women, I'll just say that, especially with some women, is that marriage is so important to them, and they believe if they never ever get married that something is missing from their life.
Right.
And there are some people who want to be married, there are some people who don't want to be married, but for those of you who do want to be married, don't rush into it.
Yeah.
And don't do anything as ludicrous as going and marrying yourself, because you still by yourself. If you're going out and marrying you're going to bed with the same person you've been going to bed with for 40 years. You. So it's like, I don't even know what to say on that one. I don't even know. She needs a counselor.
Yeah, she needs
a counselor, not a coach.
Don't call John, ma'am. Please.
Don't call me. Call her counselor. Employee assistance program or something.
Oh my gosh, the EAP. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's free. It's free. 3 sessions are free.
Oh my gosh. So, this is one of those things. This is a conversation. It's like, what makes you do things like that? Is it just for attention? What is it all for? And you gave some great insight on that. It's, you end up by yourself. You marry yourself, you end up by yourself. If that was your goal to just end up by yourself, you like you say, you accomplished it.
Yeah, you accomplished it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is that I think if she chose to do that, she didn't have to make the whole big shebang about it. You don't have to post it on Facebook. You don't have to do any of this kind of stuff. And I'm quite sure she probably got thousands of likes. And people will like anything on social media nowadays, but they are going to talk about you as well.
They are.
Behind your back. They may never say it to your face, but they're going to talk about it. So people, I'm always blown away. It's almost like people will sell their souls for a like on social media.
My Lord.
And it's not worth it.
My
All attention
goodness.
is not good attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All attention is not good attention because your intentions are just that.
Yeah.
They're trash.
Yeah.
You know, you just want just someone to just see you pose.
Yeah.
Or, you know, get this and get that, and it's not about likes. 1 million likes will never satisfy you.
Especially if you're not getting paid for it.
Bottom line.
If you're not getting paid for it, don't
Yes,
do all that stuff.
These major social media networks, outlets are not paying you to pose in the mirror and pose in the tub and by the bed and by your car and on the porch. They're not paying you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of those things you really need to think about, y'all. My producer in here is cutting up. So anyway, so this is gonna we're gonna lead into our new topic for the second hour. Should I call him? Now, this is what was on your blog today, and this is something that I really found interesting because I've kind of dealt with this question before back in the day, and then I'm like, should I, shouldn't I? So the topic is, should I call him or wait for him to call me? Now, ladies, you know, we have all, some of us have struggled with this because we're like, okay, it's day 2. I met him on Saturday. It's Tuesday. Is he going to call? Or I met him on Friday and it's Sunday. What do I do? Do I hang in there? Do I wait for him to call me? Message me now? You know, back in the day, it used to just be a phone call, but now you can inbox, message, you can do all that kind of stuff if that's how you like to be approached. But yeah, give us a little insight on what your blog was today.
It pretty much, you know, talked about, you know, should you call, especially women, should a woman call a guy, you know, out their date? You know, should she call him out the first date, especially if she's feeling him? Does she wait around for him? And, you know, I got mixed feedback from the women. Some women was like, well, if a man is really into you, he's going to call you. But we live in a world now where people get busy the next day. Everybody's focus is not dating. So if they get busy the next day, I'm sorry, you just fall, you know, somewhere down on the list. You're not their number one priority. So, you know, he may not call you the next day.
Right.
But if it's bothering you that bad that you're losing time and spending energy worrying about if he's going to call you, what do you have to lose by calling him? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing except for, you know, if you call him and he acts differently towards you, if a guy acts differently towards a woman because she called him, more than likely he wasn't feeling her. He wasn't feeling you. And if he believes that you are thirsty or too aggressive or something like that, maybe you were that way on the phone call. You know, so... and it may be true that, you know, like I said, women, it's funny, women want to be strong when it is, when it works in their favor. They want to be this new strong woman, but then they want to be a traditional woman or old-fashioned woman in certain regards. You can't be this old-fashioned woman and say, oh, well, I'm going to let him pursue me. But then when a man pursue you, you want to tell him everything that you're not going to do and so forth because you're a strong woman. You're going to have to pick. Are you going to be traditional or are you going to be strong? And if you're going to be strong, pick up the phone and call a brother. You know, like I said, the only thing he can do is either, you know, be happy when you call or he may not be happy when you call. However, his feelings has nothing to do with you at the end of the day. So don't make it about you. It's about him and what he's feeling at that particular moment, what he's going through.
Right.
So if you want to call a brother, call him.
Yeah.
And if you don't call the brother, don't sit at home worrying about if he's going to call you.
Wow. Do you hear that, ladies? Do you hear what this man has said? This is coming from a man's mouth. It's okay. I think security has so much to do with different reactions to different scenarios and things like that. Your maturity level has got to be up there, because a lot of people are, some people may think, okay, well, he hadn't called me, I'm not going to call him. They get an attitude.
Right.
Like, well, and then if he calls maybe the next week, well, why are you just not calling? Anything could happen. Like you say, he busy. Life happens after I meet you on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon, casually hanging out. Things just happen. So if they don't call you, like you say, I think you have to be comfortable with yourself and know that it's okay if he doesn't have time to speak with you. You're just calling to say, hey, just seeing how you were doing. Hope your week is going well. I'm just wanting to say hello.
Yeah, don't make it personal. Don't make it about you.
Ooh, because we already done picked the dress. We ready to have our bridesmaids at the altar, and you still sitting at the bar having your beer.
Yeah.
You're still at the bar, like, just hanging out with your friends, and this woman done had 2 or 3 dates or just met you, and she's already planning her wedding.
Yeah. Dating and a relationship is not everyone's number one priority. And just because a guy go out on a date with a female or a woman go out on a date with a guy and it's a great time does not mean that he is willing and ready to just say, okay, I'm going to be with her. This is the one. Yes. I'm going to call her tomorrow. Right. No, some people, like I say, they have a life.
Yes.
They have their weekends planned out. You went out with him on Friday. He got another chick he's going out with on Saturday and another one on Sunday. So you have to just make sure you scored the best chick of the weekend.
Well, okay. I don't have nothing to say after that, y'all. But we're going to take a short break here, and we're going to come back with more of this amazing conversation, cognac conversation, wine conversation, glass of water conversation, whatever you got at home, we are still having a conversation, and we are definitely going to drink to that. We're going to go out. It's just amazing how once you start the conversation, it just goes on and on, especially when you're talking about relationships. It is just amazing how engaging it can be when men and women talk about relationships and dating and things like that. So we have an amazing guest, and thank you for hanging in there with us on Power Play Radio, network.com and Power TV. We have John Patrick Adams, who's been here with us through the entire evening, and he has just been giving us some great insight on relationships, dating, just in general, the types of relationships and things that can occur when you're dating. So, John, I just want to say thank you again for just hanging in there with us and giving us some amazing feedback on just everything. We were having so much fun, y'all, at the break. We almost forgot that song was about to end. But anyway, I am holding the book in my hand right now, How to Win the Dating Game. This book is so amazing that I'm just literally like in awe, because these questions that John has in here are just amazing, and he gives you opportunities to write things down and just to think about things when you're in that season of dating, because sometimes everybody's not dating. Sometimes you just want to be alone. Right. You just want to just do you, which is a wonderful time of refreshing for you. But there's a question that I'm pulled out, and I want to ask this question. So, when dating, how much time is required? So that's one of the questions that's in your book. So what is, in your opinion, when you're dating, how much time is required of that courtship or?
I don't think there's a certain amount of time that you should say, okay, well, we're going to date for 3 months, and then after 3 months, then we're going to get married. Because I think a lot of times people get the whole dating thing. But there's a difference. You have a date, and then you have dating, then you have exclusively dating. And
is that like a courtship?
Yeah.
Is that courting kind of?
Yeah, exclusively dating is pretty much courtship.
Okay.
That's pretty much courtship. And a lot of times people really don't even know the complete definition of it. A date is just, it's not an interview. That's where a lot of us go wrong. We want to go out and interview the candidate. No, a date is just to go out, have a great time. see if you even want to go on a second date with the person,
Right.
because you may not want to go on a date with the
Right.
have a second date with them.
Right.
But a lot of times when we do go on dates, especially, sorry to say, but especially most times with women, they go with expectations.
Right.
And that's when they feel played or feel disappointed or something. Just go out and have a great time. And if you go out and you have a great time, and once you go there you feel like you want to have a second date, then have a second date.
Yeah.
And then once you each level of it, casually dating and exclusively dating, there need to be a conversation that escalated. And most times we don't have the conversation, we just fall into it. And one person is liable to get hurt because the guy may feel like, oh, I'm just having a great time. And the female may feel like, oh, I'm really into him, we're an item. And that's not always the case. You got to have the conversation. So when dating, I saw a question on Facebook the other day. I think it was a lady, they posted a picture of a lady. She was on a TV show. She waited 9 years to get married to the guy. She dated a guy for 9 years. So all of these women were saying, well, I wouldn't date a guy for 9 years. But if the relationship is good, why are you going to end it because he hasn't put the ring on it? You know, why are you going to end it? But a lot of women were like, well, I wouldn't waste time. But then if you end that relationship, then you're going to have to start over new with someone else.
That's right. That's right.
Then have to start over new with someone else. So if you're in a promising relationship and maybe you see potential that this relationship is going to escalate or evolve into marriage, stick it out with it. Don't put a time limit on it, because once you put that time limit on it, you could, either party, whether it's male or female, that person could become a little uncomfortable in the situation because they feel as though you're pressuring them into moving to the next level. So I don't think there should be a time frame on it. Whenever the relationship evolve into it, let it evolve. And if it's moving slower than what you are wanting it to do, make sure you make a conscious decision that you're going to walk away from the situation and never return back to the situation.
Wow.
Yeah, don't walk away and use that as an ultimatum to make them go ahead and get to that next level. No, don't play that game.
That's
Be fair to
good.
them. If you're going to walk and stay gone.
Wow. Did you hear that, y'all? He said, walk, just stay gone. Don't fool yourself.
Yeah, don't fool yourself.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that issue of, they want to play this game.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're only going to play yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to, granted, he may be hurt behind it, or she may be hurt behind it, but you're the one who's going to end up losing.
Yeah.
Because even if you spent 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years in that, and you've given them an ultimatum, and you put a time frame on it, and then you want to just kind of just dump everything because it wasn't on your timing. And also, I believe you're limiting God when you do things like that as well, because there are just things that need time.
Yeah.
And especially in today's society, timing is really everything. Not saying it was different 50 or 70 years ago, but, I think people are waiting to have children later. I think they're waiting to get, later to get married, because there's just so much out there. We're just so full of stuff that it's like, okay, let's just kind of hang out right here. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
We're enjoying ourselves. We're coming. We know each other. Families know each other. So things are great, but you just want to just start putting pressure and just start, making it be uneasy and uncomfortable to be around, and things are just not going the way that they should, because like those unwanted, like warranted feelings started popping up. Like, I'm going to let him know if he doesn't do this, because you start listening to girlfriends.
Exactly.
You start listening to homeboys, and it just gets all misconstrued. It gets all messed up, because I know of a couple of people where, the marriage wasn't working out so well, or the relationship wasn't working out well. People start listening to their friends.
Yeah.
Not saying that you can't get advice or opinions, but you've got to go to the soul. It's the soul of things. It's the heart condition. You cannot just rely on your friends' opinions or your family's opinions about your relationship.
Exactly. And I think, in relationships, sometimes we fail because we give to get something in return. We, and especially, sorry, ladies, I don't mean to hold it down on you, but women, a lot of times you are a wife with the man who only wants a girlfriend. Don't, if you want to, don't do anything that you're eventually going to regret.
Wow.
Don't give anything that you're going to regret. Just go along with it, feel him out, and then that way, if you walk away from it, you don't believe or feel as though you've given the best of you to someone who can handle it. Give with pure intentions and let him decide if he wants to take the relationship to the next level, but do not be a wife in a girlfriend situation. And that's where a lot of people fail.
Yeah, that's really good. I hope you guys are really getting some good information, because John is really taking us to church. He is really giving us some really good insight on just the way people think. Walking into these relationships or in these friendships, courtships, it's not about you. It's not all about you. You have to understand that your feelings do matter, but you don't want to just put yourself out there to just be this fool. Just stop. Don't fool yourself. That's the bottom line to this. So we got a Facebook question here, John, for you. What is the difference between dating and kicking it?
Dating, again, if hopefully you've had that conversation. I think you need to have the conversation where both of you have defined that we are exclusively dating one another. And again, that's where a lot of people don't have that conversation. So if you are having sex with someone, you're spending a lot of time with them, and you have do not have a clear understanding of where the two of you stand, more than likely you're just kicking it.
Okay.
If he's just calling you over to his house with his homeboys, y'all, watch a football game, and then y'all have sex after it's over with, and you don't hear from him the next day or the day after, y'all just kicking it, and you more than likely probably just a booty call.
Yeah, right.
So the difference between dating, like I said, if you are doing all the things that you would do in a relationship without a clear understanding,
right,
you're kicking it. And I would not assume otherwise until we both come to a joint decision that we are an item.
Exactly. And that's how we end up. Females sometimes end up at the altar, ready to get married, and the guy is still just hanging out doing his thing, because we have totally two different perspectives on what this really is. Courting and dating, they're two different things. You've just got to understand where it's at. So I got this question. This is my own question. Now, this is a term that's kind of new to me, because I've never, terms are always changing, but it means the same thing. What is a thought?
That hole over there.
Yeah, right. What is a thought, y'all? I need to know what this thing is, because I've heard the term. I need to know what that is. I don't want to become that, so I need to know. I don't think I want to become.
And I think it has different meanings depending on who you ask, but it's pretty much a loose woman, or it could be a thirsty woman, or a desperate woman. It's not, I don't think any guy is going to consider his girlfriend a thought. So a thought is not a compliment, but in the world today, the B word is a compliment. So I'm quite sure thought is flattering to some people, but ladies, that's really not a compliment. That's not a good thing.
So if you've ever been called one of those, or you hear that before your name, it's really not cool.
It's not cool. It's not cool.
It's not cool at all, y'all. So get it together, while you're on social media thinking that that term is cool. It's not. So now I know what a thought is. So hey, I'm up on game. Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is just so fun, because I love talking about relationships. I love talking about dating, and I love the male's perspective when it comes to dating, because that's who I want to end up with. I want to end up with a male. So it's like the insight that I get from the experiences you've had, whatever you want to share with us, of course, and in the friendship, courtship, as we progress. But sometimes we just need that. We got questions. We want to know. So, there's this thing that I saw on social media a little while ago, which just, blew me out the water. But it happens every day. So this is a gentleman who is married, but he has his side piece. And his statement on social media said, "I deserve to have everything my little heart desires." This man's plea for his mistress and his wife to get along. And that goes viral. And he claims that he should be rewarded for his hard work. Think on this thing right here. Think on this.
Now, that's the foolishness we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
That's the foolishness we were talking about earlier. Because I think, the funny thing about side pieces and women who are married to these men, mm-hmm. and they know their husband
right.
Is cheating on
mm-hmm.
them, first off, you have to ask yourself, the ladies have to ask themselves, why am I settling for a man that is, for one, not 100% committed to me? Mm-hmm. And he may, you got to give him credit. He was honest.
He's honest.
He's
exactly.
honest. He's honest. And I think at that point, when he was honest with his wife mm-hmm. and his side piece, that he had a girl, they were both present, mm-hmm. he gave them a choice. He gave them a choice to say, this is something I can deal with, mm-hmm. so I'm going to walk away from this situation. And in those cases, most times, we believe we can change the person and reel them back in.
That's good. You
can't change somebody. They have to make the change themselves mm-hmm. and feel as though you are worth the change. Mm-hmm. And that's the hard thing. That's the hard pill that I think it is for a lot of people, men and women, to swallow, is that we want to feel like we're enough. Mm-hmm. And when someone has an outside person, a lot of times we make that personal and believe as though we're not satisfying them 100%. Mm-hmm. We're not doing our job. So we seek to step up our game, hoping that they're going to lead the other person. And we're only, selling ourselves short. That brother was honest. So, you can commend him for being honest, but you have to ask the women, like, what is wrong with you to cause you to stick around in a situation with someone that clearly does not love you?
No.
He may love you as a person, may like your attributes, but as he do not love you. Mm-mm. No, he do not love you.
Mm-mm. He doesn't. And I know probably some of that reason, the reason why these women stick around is because of finances. The gentleman talked about how he makes, good money and things like that, but you sacrifice your relationship and you sacrifice as far as the side piece is concerned, could be with him 100%. Because of finance, like finances. He gives me this, he buys me this, and we get trapped. I think that money thing really, there are some people who live in an apartment, who've probably been living in an apartment for 10 or 15 years, married, just the happiest couple. Every time you see them, they're just loving on each other. They know that they don't have a whole lot, but that love is bonding them together. They're happier than some people who have a 5-bedroom home, 5 cars, 3 bathrooms, just a food table, all of those elements and, those materialistic things, but you sacrifice just for that. Just to be, not saying that financial freedom is not a good thing, because being financially free is a blessing, but you hinder so much, and you make so much, suppress. Everything else is suppressed because he's taking care of me.
Right.
And people get caught up in that, he's taking care of me, I'm going to just let him do what he want to do. Really?
Yeah. And you know, people
Ooh,
fear,
that's tough.
you know, they fear the unknown of starting
Yes.
over and having to
Yes.
get out there and make it for themselves. So, like you said, we suppress who we are and we settle, and we will take over what appears to be a comfortable life over our own happiness and over our own worth. But the older you get, and I'm learning this here, the older you get, you just realize that everything is not worth it. Some things you have to just let go, and sticking around with a brother, because eventually he'll probably get tired of you and he'll file for divorce, and you'll probably get nothing or alimony or whatever the case may be. But you know, you have to I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, it's just too much. So y'all, we are gonna be wrapping up here in just a little bit, and we are so thankful to have John Patrick Adams with us tonight, sharing his insight on relationships and dating. We're going to go on a quick commercial and music break, and we will be right back. We're going to leave you with Foolish Heart in Bed with Shalonda, and we have had a wonderful time tonight with our special guest, John Patrick Adams, and he has just been giving us some amazing insight on just relationships, dating, courtship, if you a thought or not, you know. Don't become one of those. Don't become one of those, because I learned that that's not a good thing. But anyway, please go on to John's website. He has a daily blog. I mean, this man writes constantly. So johnpatrickadams.com is the place where you want to go to find out everything about what John is doing, events, touring, everything that he's doing around the country. And also purchasing his books. I mean, I'm telling you, I opened up a book and I was just blown away just by just looking at one page. Now I'm literally going to have, this is going to be a bedside manner for me. I'm going to literally have this by my side, because I want to win at the dating game. If you want to win at the dating game, get educated. I think that's very important, to get educated on things, because you know, back in the day, we didn't have tools and resources and things like that. We just went on what mama and them did.
Yeah.
We went on what our dad and them did. You know, you get a wife, you get married, you have kids. You know, but it's just not that easy in a sense, because women are working now. They're more independent.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, there's things that we need to learn about, you know, how relationships work, and, you know, learning the different terms, because it's just not the same, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay that it's not the same that it was 50 years ago. We're evolving. We're making more money. We're living longer. There's just things that are happening so good for us right now in this present day, that you want to be connected with the right person.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, John, as we get ready to wrap up, can you just give us a little insight on just whatever, you know, for someone out there who's listening, who may just be struggling with themselves on the inside, or looking to date. Maybe they're in that season of, I'm not going to date right now. I'm just going to you know, do me. Just a little insight.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I would encourage anybody to do, whether it's dating or just everyday life, is just to stay true to who you are. And that requires some work, to stay true to who you are, because that requires you to get to know who you are, and to get to know what you like, what you dislike, and stand firm on your own beliefs and your own standards, not the standards set before you. Just find out what it is that you like, what it is you don't like, and then move forward with that. And then in regards to dating, I would just say date without any expectations. You know, just enjoy the moment. And ladies, when you go out with a guy, treat that guy as an individual. Do not categorize him. Do not profile him. Men, when you date a woman, treat her as an individual. Do not categorize her. Do not profile her. Get to know people for who they are, because no man is the same. No woman is the same. Everyone has different experiences. They have a different future, so treat them accordingly. And one thing I definitely want to encourage people to not do is never date potential. And what that means is, if the person can't see the potential in themselves, no matter how much you see potential in them, it's not going to do you any good. So don't date the potential of who you believe they can be if they don't even see it themselves. So run away from that. And like I say, with dating, just stay true to who you are. Don't jump into it too quick.
That's good. Now, before we leave, I've got to ask this question. We're in fall now. It doesn't really feel like fall, but it's fall, and winter is coming after that. What is it where people break up right before the holidays? What is up with that? What's up with that? Can you just give me a little insight, or just...
I guess they don't want to buy no Christmas gifts.
Oh, dang.
That's the only thing I can see on that is maybe they don't want to buy no Christmas gifts because, I don't know on that one.
That is out of control.
Yeah, that's out of control. Or ladies, maybe y'all want to buy, maybe you should put cheaper Christmas gifts on your list. No purses, no designer purses, nothing like that. Maybe a $50 gift card. He can manage that. And if he can't manage a $50 gift card, cut that brother off. It's 2016. Everybody can afford $50.
It's like, okay, it's getting cooler outside. People want to snuggle. People want to, get together and be intimate and things like that. But it's like right before the holidays, the woman gets dumped. Or, maybe the male getting dumped. I don't know. But sometimes it just seems as if the female is getting dumped more than the male is getting
maybe
dumped.
she's putting pressure on him to give her a ring for Christmas.
Now, this is true.
And he's not ready to give you the ring.
So there's so many scenarios.
There's so many scenarios there.
Oh, y'all, I'm going to just keep holding tight. I'm going to just, trying to, figure out why in the world do we go the whole 10 to 12, 11 months, and then December 15th, oh, girl, we broke up. Oh, dang, we not together no more. Dang, girl. I'm like, what's up with that? That has just been an ongoing vicious cycle for relationships. Year after year after year. But like you say, it could be you don't want to buy that designer purse because people got to have that
they got to have that. Yeah, they got to have it, especially at Christmas time because they want to show it all, post it on Facebook and all of that stuff.
They're gonna have like Gucci and Prada and Victoria's Secret and this and that and all these bags posted on social media, and they all empty.
All empty and still in the store. They just took the picture. They took it off the rack and took a picture.
Can I have a bag, ma'am? Ain't bought nothing, y'all. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what, guys? I can't believe 2 hours has literally flown by. John, please tell us how we can follow you.
I'm on everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, I'm out there. SoundCloud, you can follow me there. Everything is my full name, John Patrick Adams. So if you look me up on any of those, you can find me there. And on my website, you can get links to all of those social media outlets.
Awesome. Well, this has been a treat for us, and I always I'm going to start leaving you with a little inspiration and a little bedtime story, just a quick little poem. So we just want to just say thank you, John, for showing up and just showing out tonight.
Thank you.
Giving us all of this great information, even though it was just a snippet of all the hard work that you put in on a daily basis to get people right, to get people thinking. We've got to come to the point to where we're, hey, let's get better. Yeah. It's all about getting better. As we age, wisdom is supposed to come with age, but age doesn't have a number.
Exactly.
I mean, you could be 75 years old and still acting a fool with somebody you've dated for 50 years and you just don't want to do right. So I understand that it's just age ain't nothing but a number, and, it's who you are on the inside, being authentic. So thanks so much, everyone, for listening to us and just being just so supportive in this mission that I'm on, just to bring you great music and insightful guests and things like that. And we're definitely going to have John back. John has agreed to come back with us. We're going to do some live taping. We're going to have him back. We're just going to have more fun. He's going to have some more things to give to you. So before we go, I just want to leave you with this. There could be someone who's listening or watching tonight that's going through their own personal quiet storm, as I mentioned at the top of the show. At the end of the day, In Bed with Shalonda wants to be a place of security, a place of freedom, and a place of comfort for you. I am here to share and connect with you on a personal level. You may not feel comfortable talking with, people you already know, or a coworker. But there are two places that I heard that are the most intimate conversations that take place. It is in the car and it's in the bedroom. If you can believe that, most of the time people have intimate conversations in the car, or they're going to have that intimate conversation in the bedroom. And so since our show is basically called In Bed with Shalonda, you can have that conversation with me. Even if your real name is Tony and you want to call yourself Mike, that's fine too. You want to be Mike for 2 hours, you can be Mike for 2 hours. Or if your name is Alicia and you want to be Susan, that's okay. But, hey, we're just going to just make you feel comfortable here. And if you find that you are not in a quiet storm, that's great, because we all can walk through the good times and the tough times together. And that's what I want to be here for you. So I'm going to leave you with this little bedtime story poem called Hey You. Hey you, can I rub my fingers through your hair? Hey you, can I kiss those eyes that seem to stare? Hey you, I'm here only for a moment in time, but you've got that something that makes me want to stay a lifetime. Hey you, the way your body language moves puts me in a sexy, mellow groove. Hey you, I didn't get your name. Please allow me to introduce myself. You're in bed with Shalonda. Please don't place our time together on a dusty shelf. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on In Bed with Shalonda on PowerPlayRadioNetwork.com and Power TV. Thank you, John.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Signing off, guys. Good night. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.